And now it's time for Windy City Sports Talk. And your host, Ryan Young.
Hello, Chicago! Welcome to this live Monday, November the 14th edition of Windy City Sports Talk. I am Ryan Young. For the next half hour, we're going to recap everything going on in the world of Chicago sports. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's at ringside_rep. Appreciate everyone listening, watching. Well, actually, you can't. If you're watching, I'm amazed, to be perfectly honest with you. We're going to start with the ugly. We're going to get into the more ugly, and then get a little bit better as we go. Let's start off by, I hope everyone had a beautiful weekend. Sports-wise, it was pretty good until yesterday around noon. We'll get into the Blackhawks and the Bulls a little bit later on, but let's start with the ugly, get that out of the way first. And that is the ugliness of the Chicago Bears. Which, going into this game, a lot of people thought, okay, that game against the Minnesota Vikings, that's a start. Now this team's going to build up, make a push for a wild card. But everyone knew that if they came out and did not play well in this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that this season was done. And guess what? They didn't play well at all. Started off with an interception by Chris Conti that returned for a touchdown. Let that sink in for a second if you think you didn't hear me. Yes, that Chris Conti. I was shocked myself. I posted it on Twitter. I'm like, that Chris Conti? Yeah, it was that one. Ugly or there, and then all of a sudden it looked like the Bears were getting back in it. The first half ended with a Hail Mary that was caught by Meredith in the end zone. And then pretty much what I said right away was, I was watching it with my sister, and pretty much what I said was, okay, now they got to come out of this break. They got to come out of halftime and stop them. They didn't. They gave up a touchdown. And then it just went all ugly from there. And the Bears lose with a final of 36-10. Jay Cutler once again looked unmotivated, looked unprepared. Again, a lot of people, and Olin Kreutz was on 670 The Score this morning, and he said something that I think, and again, coming from a guy that's been in the NFL, I don't know off the top of my head if he got a chance to play with Jay Cutler, but I want to say he did, but I could be wrong. What the thing is that game against the Vikings was definitely something, it could have been a mirage. And I'm using that word, not Olin Kreutz. Because when you see a Monday night game on your schedule, you practice that whole week, you focus that whole week, mainly because you're going to be the only game on TV on national television. And they came out and they played very well in that game. And then all of a sudden, they come out against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that isn't that good. But the Bears made them seem like they were like the Taj Mahal of the NFL. And lose 36-10, and we saw the truth behind them. I've seen articles today about how the locker room, and nothing official, but that the locker room was giving up on Jay Cutler. I'm even having people that have been on the Jay Cutler bandwagon for all these years that I've continued to say, he's not the right guy. And now they've finally come around. So is that it for Jay Cutler? It's just not worked. He's gotten this team to an NFC championship game a couple of years ago, but besides that, this team has not been good. It's been ugly. It's been deplorable. Is there going to be a full house cleaning? Is John Fox only going to be here for the remainder of this season and cash out? It's just an ugly scene in a place and with a fan base that is so prideful of their team, and they have just nothing. Or we have really nothing to be excited about. Now, my number one team has always been the Cubs. The Bears have always been third. I've talked about that numerous times in this. Now, this is our 50th episode, by the way. But, I mean, and I know how that goes. Being a Cub fan, all them years they struggled. It was ugly. They were dreadful at times. But you always saw, especially when Theo and Jed and Tom Ricketts took over, you figure you saw the light at the end of the tunnel. There is no light at the end of the tunnel for the Bears. They got to blow this thing up. McCaskey, I don't know what they're going to do. It's just been it was an ugly scene yesterday, and to put a quote, I don't know if this was, I'm sure this could have been in a paper, embarrassing. Embarrassing. That's exactly what that was. It was in a terrible game, and Jameis Winston has not had a good year, and they look good. I mean, 4 or 5 turnovers in the first half? You can't do that. And a couple of them were, I believe, Colorado fumble in there as well. That was the game that could have got the Bears back on track. But what I think another thing that hurt this team was the fact that there was a bye in between there that really took the momentum away. I mean, if say they played Monday and they had that game against Tampa the following Sunday, there might have been a different story. Of course, John Fox gave the whole team a week off, but according to the collective bargaining agreement, you have to give a mandatory of 4 days off, including the Tuesday and yada yada. So they were pretty much forced the hand of having them days off. We gave them a whole week off. But also what Owen Kreutz said today on the score was that if you're told to take days off and you go home and actually take them days off, I'm saying this in my own word, you're an idiot. Because if you're 2-6 and told to take time off, that'd be the last thing on your mind if you are dedicated to this team, is to really literally take it off. You are not supposed to, you can go home, you have an iPad, technology is so great now. Go home and study film. And that is something that I don't know. This team came in flat, and it was just terrible from the beginning. And they're now 2-7, and get ready to face the Giants, who are, I think that really the Cowboys are running away with that, and I couldn't be more proud of the Cowboys. That's coming from so again, I get a loss there. So really, I mean, I predicted them to be 9-7 this season. They're already 2-7. They had an easy schedule this year, capable of winning and getting a wild card spot, and they have proven that they are the epitome, right above the Cleveland Browns of the National Football League. I'd like to see a game like that. I'd like to see the Browns versus the Bears, and I want to see if the Bears could even beat them. They don't face them this year. But still, I mean, at Giants, against the Titans, and of course, the sun poking behind the cloud on this rainy day is that the Packers absolutely got demolished by the Tennessee Titans. Now, I was in Nashville in June, and I was with Wisconsin people, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to go to the Packer-Titan game, and I was thinking, I'm like, that's almost an easy win for the Pack. And here, they get demolished. Nashville, beautiful city. I said it a million times. If you haven't gone, check it out. Just a deplorable game by Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. The Vikings lost. They've lost, 4 in a row now? And the Lions were sitting home on their couches watching football Sunday, and they are in first place. And I looked today at the Thanksgiving games. You got the early game. You got Vikings at Lions, which is going to be fun and entertaining. And then you also have Redskins at Cowboys, the second game. And the third game, not too exciting. The Steelers at the Colts. But I still think them first 2 games are going to be great. And then by that time, people are going to be probably sick of football and get ready. A lot of people are already out for Black Friday, which after working retail one winter, I will never, ever go out on Black Friday. Okay, so the Bears lose, and you wake up this morning, you're like, okay, it's a brand new day. Focus on the Giants, and then literally before the last hour, news breaks that Alshon Jeffrey is suspended 4 games for PED use. This is the official article. Here. This is by Larry Mayer, the Bears senior writer. Bears receiver Alshon Jeffrey has been suspended for 4 games without pay for violating the NFL policy on performance-enhancing substances. Jeffrey's suspension begins immediately. He will be eligible to return to the Bears' active roster on Monday, December the 12th, after missing games against the Giants, Titans, 49ers, and Lions. Jeffrey has caught 40 passes for a team's leading 630 yards and 1 touchdown this season. That is, again, from Larry Mayer, and that's on ChicagoBears.com. It is, and I put, as soon as I retweeted that, I said, the ship continues to sink. Not much can get worse. Now Cutler, Eddie Royal's been fairly tolerable as the Bears receiver. Now I guess he turns into the top receiver for the Bears. After Alshon Jeffrey just, oh my God. I guess it fits. The way this team has been. And of course his game he'll be able to come back for will be getting ready for the Sunday game against the Packers. Which, that actually might not be too bad of a game, the way the Packers are playing also in its Soldier. But will the Bears get another win? I've talked about it so many times this year. This team just looks out of sync, out of rhythm. But then you get the Jeffrey situation, which I really don't know how to react to. You see PED suspensions in baseball a lot, but you rarely see them in the NFL, which is shocking. Is it really shocking it's a Bear? Did it really enhance his performance? Seriously. I think they should give him instead of a suspension, they should give him a raise. For at least giving a shit. Someone on that Bears team has to. Because it's not from Jay Cutler. It's not from John Fox. This team is beaten down and done. Like a well-done steak. Ugh. Done. So, he'll be gone for 4 weeks. There's no statement. The Bears have posted the article. There's been no statements from Alshon Jeffrey yet. I'm not sure if there will be. And the suspension starts immediately without pay. So he is gone until the week of the Bear-Packer game, which that is December 18th. He'll be back and eligible to come back to practice the day after the game against the Detroit Lions on December 11th. So that is what it is for the Bears. We got some recap, and we got to get on the positive side of things in Chicago sports now. Because the Bears is and I continue to say it, and I always talk about it with my sister, it's like Murder, She Wrote for the Bears. So let's move past that. Time to focus on the Blackhawks and Bulls. Before we look that way, let's take a look, or let's have the Windy City Sports Minute, and we'll be back in a flash. This is your Windy City Sports Minute for Monday, November the 14th. Well, the positives in Chicago over the weekend, the Blackhawks get 3 out of a possible 4 points, lose on Friday, 3-2 to the Capitals in overtime, and then yesterday got a 3-2 victory over the best team in the NHL, the Montreal Canadiens. They'll be back on the ice tomorrow night to start the circus trip in Winnipeg. The Bulls able to get a win over the Wizards Saturday night at the United Center, 106-95. They'll be back on the floor tomorrow night also to start their circus road trip in Portland against the Blazers. Then on the gridiron, the Bears lose 36-10 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, dropping to 2-7. Also breaking this past hour, Alshon Jeffrey is suspended 4 games without pay due to a PED violation. That is your Windy City Sports Minute. Now back to Windy City Sports Talk. Welcome back here to Windy City Sports Talk. Hope to make your Monday a little bit better. I know the first segment wasn't that good because we talked about the Bears. I posted on Facebook right before we went on, why couldn't Jay Cutler, actually I posted on Twitter, but it goes on Facebook, why couldn't Jay Cutler fail the PED test? And Scott X. Count Ortiz, who used to wrestle for the company I announced for, put because he would fumble the cup or pass it to the wrong doctor. And my response was, God damn it, you're probably right. Yeah, that's the Bears. Nick Alexson chiming in as always. Appreciate you listening. He put the Bears, my God, horrible. I don't know how much worse it can get. We are one step away from being the Browns. At least we have the Blackhawks and Bulls for some entertainment. The Bears just can't feed us Super Bowl 20 over and over again. Yeah, they can't. They really can't. And like I said, they're very close to being a Browns team. But we got to stay positive. And we'll try to do that here for the next... We got exactly half a show left for this Monday. Tomorrow's show will probably not be live because usually when there's nothing I have to watch tonight because, again, the Bulls and Blackhawks are both off. I will probably be a recorded show tonight. And would be probably a recorded show tomorrow and be back live on Wednesday because the West Coast the West Coast games, I don't know if I can stay up late for those anymore. I'm in bed by 10:30. I sound like an 80-year-old, but yeah. We'll see. As the circus trips start tomorrow night for both. At least the Blackhawks start at 7 tomorrow night in Winnipeg. That's not bad. But then the Bulls got to play in Portland tomorrow night, which is like 9 o'clock. So we'll see. And see if I can finish watching it on maybe DVR it and catch it in the morning. So we'll see. But anyway, let's recap what happened over the weekend. Blackhawks brought a 6-7 game winning streak into the Madhouse on Friday against Alexander Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. I did not get a chance to watch this game, and I'm very disappointed in that. I got home, and I was really, really tired, exhausted. I forgot what I did. I don't think I did anything. I was just tired. Didn't have the patience to watch a hockey game. And the Hawks end up losing 3-2 in overtime, but they do get a point, so I guess if you want to continue a point streak, why not? And then the Blackhawks welcomed in the Montreal Canadiens yesterday with the best record in the NHL. And the Hawks were up 1-0 early on Forsling's first goal in his career. And then the Canadiens came back with 2 very fast goals. The second one by Shea Weber. And I actually watched that game last night, and I had to watch it on the computer because I don't get WGN Channel 9 in Wisconsin. Shea Weber, and it went off one of the Hawks' sticks over Corey Crawford's head, making it 2-1. But then Marian Hossa and Patrick Kane do the good. And they're able to get it, and the Hawks win it 3-2 the final. So the point streak is still alive for the Blackhawks, and they beat the best team in the NHL. If the playoffs started tomorrow, this would probably be your choices for the Stanley Cup final. When you got, possible picks. It'd be the Blackhawks for the Western Conference, Montreal Canadiens for the Eastern Conference, and I think that'd be great. I think it'd be a fun, entertaining matchup, of course, or the original 6 matchup. And I think this team, the Hawks, can just continue to play well. They don't disappoint. They come out and perform, and I think that's big. And you saw Hossa and you saw Kane continue to do their thing. So I think you got to be overall impressed, and they were able to get back. I'm not sure if they had a lead on Friday night or not, but to be able to at least get a point out of that, just get that game to overtime. And I think that's a tremendous job by the Hawks, and I think now that's exactly what they needed. Keep this streak alive going on to the West Coast, because it's not easy, never is, for either team. And the Hawks, as of late, probably have had an easier time of it than the Bulls have. The Bulls seem to always have struggles, and I'm pretty sure it's probably going to happen again starting tomorrow night, because it just seems like the Bulls just never get up for these West Coast games, and by the time they do, the circus trip is over. But a well-played game by the Hawks. I think that's what they needed. They needed to have 2 very strong games to get ready for the circus trip, and they did. And like I said, the winning streak's not there anymore, but at least you're there with the point streak, and hopefully they'll keep that up. And again, tomorrow night they'll be in Winnipeg, take on the Jets. I don't know if Nick's still listening, but is Dustin Byfuglien still on the Winnipeg Jets, or am I dating myself a little bit there? I remember him being on the Thrashers when they turned to the Jets. And is he even in the league anymore? But so, big start there, and again, they continue to be one of the beasts in the Western Conference. So they just got to continue to do that, and we'll see if what happens. And I'm going to look up Dustin Byfuglien right now. Yes, he is currently serving as the alternate captain for the Winnipeg Jets. So Big Buff, who helped the Hawks, one of the guys that helped the Hawks win their first Stanley Cup in 2010, and now the Hawks will get a chance to reunite. And yeah, Nick just said long-term contract after they dumped Ladd. So just a great weekend for the Hawks. I think there was really definitely nothing to complain about. And of course, last night you also saw the return of Andrew Shaw to the United Center as he was a member of the Montreal Canadiens, and I think they did a very nice tribute. It's always nice and touching. Like, you've seen a lot of these returns home in the past week. Derrick Rose to the United Center, Dwayne Wade to Miami, and then you see Andrew Shaw come back. So I think that's big, and I think that's nice. It's supportive to see that when you come to Chicago and you're here for either a championship run or a very good team, Chicago sports fan do not forget you in a positive or negative way. Now, so you're kind of part of the family of Chicago if you're here for any part of time. Like Derrick Rose, even though he left on bad terms, still had somewhat of a great run when he wasn't modeling suits on the bench. And then, of course, Wade going to Miami back there. I think that was nice. And then seeing Andrew Shaw come back. So I think it's nice. It's nice to see how Chicago sports teams do that, because you follow these teams so religiously. You consider these people part of your family at times, and so you're able to. So I think it's great. So the Hawks go get 3 out of a possible 4 points over the weekend, and then we shift to the Bulls, who are home at the United Center on Saturday to take on. Friday, the Blackhawks hosted the Washington Capitals, and then Saturday, the Bulls hosted the Washington Wizards. So I believe at one time, both Washington, D.C. teams were in Chicago. And the Bulls came out early on all of a sudden, without John Wall and their other guy. I can't think of his name now. The other one. They were both sat out, apparently back-to-back games on the second of a back-to-back. He sits out, and I think John Wall my prediction, could be a hot take if you will, you might see John Wall going down that exact, isn't he following that exact same road of Derrick Rose? Like, his team, he hasn't been able to make it to a conference final yet, but it just seems like every time you get a chance for this team to be good, and John Wall just goes right back down the old poop chute, or out the poop chute. So I think that's just so I'm not sure if he's ever, I mean, he's the new, I mean, if you can, he's what, 20-some years old, and I mean, I know he just had surgery in May on his knees, so I know that, but I mean, already 20-some years old and can't play the second of a back-to-back. So that really isn't boding well for them in the nation's capital. And they had out to a very good lead. They had a rookie backcourt on Saturday night, and I want to say that was the only the last rookie backcourt before that was a long time ago. I want to say the 70s, because I had to watch it on the Washington Wizards channel, so they were doing some trivia, kind of talking about that. And so I mean, they did a very good job also, and they had like a 10-point lead. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Nikola Mirotic was still shooting up blanks, and I think once he gets his confidence back, and I mean, and at times it looks like his confidence is there, and other times his confidence looks like it's nowhere near the arena. So really, I think they played, and then all of a sudden they came back. They went on like a 10-13-0 run, and the Bulls were able to win them a final of 106-95. So they're now 2 games over 500. The most they've been over 500 this season has been 3 when they started out the season 3-0. So possibilities are endless, and hopefully now that they start the West Coast trip tomorrow night in Portland, hopefully that'll be a sign that this team can get back and going and try to get back to 3 games over 500. I believe sometime on this trip, it might be over the weekend, they'll be playing both tenants of the Staples Center in like back-to-back nights, Clippers and Lakers. My gut wants to tell me it's Saturday, Sunday, because they're on the road, I believe, through Thanksgiving. We talked about this last week. They are in Los Angeles Saturday. Well, they play the Clippers there on Saturday, and then they play the Lakers there Sunday. Do both teams play on Sunday, the Bull and the Hawks? No. Hawks play Saturday, Monday. Because I got Survivor Series this weekend. I got to watch Goldberg's return, baby! He returns tonight. Him and Brock face off. I'm excited about that. But that's for my other show. If you want to check out our Ringside Report Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, always post that on YouTube, on Facebook, so check it out. And also, happy birthday to the Smooths. My partner on Ringside Report's 31 today. And also 11 years ago today, it was the tribute show to Eddie Guerrero, Viva La Raza, after he passed away 11 years ago yesterday. So there's some wrestling knowledge dropped here on Windy City Sports Talk. But so for the Bulls, I think really they just gotta keep that going. I mean, like I said, it's not gonna be an easy trip. It never is. They have Portland, Utah, Clippers, Lakers, Nuggets, and then Philadelphia. So they finish that off. They go all West Coast, and then they have one in Philadelphia against which will be also the Philadelphia 76ers will be the first team in the NBA to have a sponsorship. I believe next year they get the StubHub logo on their uniform. So pretty much you're going to start branding your players. Great job, whoever the heck the guy, I forgot the guy's name. But so I think out of what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I say the Bulls go 3-3. Is that a safe bet? And then can return home against the Lakers on November 30th. So they're on. Get this, they play Friday at Philly, the 25th, and then they are off till Wednesday the 30th. I guess after that trip they get I mean maybe that's their Thanksgiving break because every year they're on the road for Thanksgiving because of the circus. So I guess they deserve a little time off. I'm not sure if the Hawks get the same thing, but a lot of their players are Canadian. They don't celebrate Thanksgiving, except they do in October in Canada. Eh? So yeah, so we'll see. But again, that's a pretty good big layoff. I'm gonna miss my Bulls basketball, but we got it tomorrow night, and that shall be interesting. Against the Portland Trailblazers, of course. Have you seen what's his face? We are doing. What the heck's his name? Damian Lillard doing a tribute, or he's like a rapper now. He does rapping on the side in the off seasons. Check that out. And I think that'll be a fun matchup. I think the Bulls again, if they can beat teams that don't have centers. And I mean they had Marcin Gortat on the Washington Wizards, so the Bulls were able to beat them. So hopefully they'll be able to continue that hot streak as the West Coast trip begins tomorrow night. Like I said, Blackhawks start theirs tomorrow night also. So right now good in the hood. Besides the Bears, you take the Bears out, I think Chicago sports, everyone's still riding high in the Cubs World Series. The awards start tonight. Rookie of the Year, the only one the Cubs don't have someone, most likely Corey Seager for the National League. American League, a lot of people may be singing Gary Sanchez. And then we'll get into that possibly tomorrow. We won't be able to, maybe I will do tomorrow's show live, because it's awards week. I want to be up to date with this stuff. So we'll see. And maybe I'll do it live because I enjoy the interaction with folks. So again, tonight, Rookie of the Year. Even Scott Beatty. First Monday I've been able to talk the whole show. I believe we'll have him back next week for the Hot Stove to talk about awards week. And then, because usually we find time to only talk baseball for a half hour, which I could talk about baseball for about 3 hours. So Rookie of the Year tonight, Corey Seager, most likely for the National League. American League, I don't even know who's up besides Gary Sanchez, so I'll go Gary Sanchez. I mean, he helped the Yankees get back to, after trading Aroldis Chapman and trading Andrew Miller, that got him right back in the race to possibly being a wild card team. And unfortunately, they couldn't get there, so we'll see. Preview for tomorrow, we are going to preview Blackhawks Jets and preview Bulls Blazers. Plus, we'll talk a little bit if there's anything else about the Alshon Jeffrey situation. We'll talk about the Rookie of the Year. I will probably... And Rob Myers just commented, why couldn't Jay Cutler fail a PED test, he says, and then do a funny pout? Yeah, because that's usually what he does. We'll talk about all that stuff, and then who are the Rookie of the Years. And I believe Manager of the Year will be after that, possibly Joe Mann. So everyone have a great day. Enjoy your Monday. Most likely we'll have a live show tomorrow, because of course that's what I do here. I serve the people. Have a great day, Chicago.